on now then to open the floor for questions to all candidates, from and to candidates. So yes, so who would like to ask the first question and to which candidate? Luke?
Hi, yeah, my question is to Praveen, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
My question is that UHISA elections are across all of the different campuses and all of the different partners, and many of the candidates went and visited all of the different, or as many other campuses as they possibly could, different partners that they could. I didn't see any of your campaign in any of the other partners. I was wondering if there was a reason for that, or perhaps I missed it. Maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I just didn't get. There was a chance, but I couldn't make it. That's the only problem. But other than that, I was concentrating on promoting it in Perth College itself because I want to, as if you have seen the previous election results, very limited students have voted for the elections. So I was thinking, instead of doing multiple things at the same time, why not concentrate on one thing where you can promote it better? That's why I wasn't able to go to every or other partners' colleges. That's the reason. So, did that answer your question?
Thank you, Praveen. Does that answer your question, Luke?
Can I follow up? Is that okay?
Yes, by all means, follow up on another question.
Do you think that perhaps that there is a weakness in that strategy, in that UHISA represents all of the partners, and that perhaps it's unlikely that you'll get many people interested in voting for you if you haven't visited or sent posters or any of your campaign materials to each of the individual partners?
Thank you, Luke. Praveen?
Well, it's as I see the UHISA, it's about the last week. I was going for from my own experience. I was going for the volleyball team. There were people who enrolled in it, but they didn't come up and they didn't show up. Basically, we all because it was just meeting and meeting and meeting. We should first show the students that we have the things, the clubs. There are clubs, but how do you tell them that the clubs are active? It should be active. It doesn't matter if there's going to be only one student or 5 students, but we have to first promote them. We have to keep it active. Then only then only the students will be aware of it. So I was talking about this to normal students in Perth College. So I think that's one of the weakness in UHISA, why students are not interested and in elections. So I was more concentrating on only in Perth College. That's why I couldn't send the campaign promoters or anything else. So.
Thank you, Praveen. I think that's answered your question, Luke.
Yep.
Oh, you've got enough screen there. There you are. Okay, next question then. Who would like to ask any of the candidates questions? And as well for the representatives that we have here, the specialist officers, this is kind of an open floor section where you can candidate to candidate ask questions and so on. So, next question.
Hi there. I'm Ronald, and being a student president of a local student association here at West Island College, I'm very interested to find out from all the candidates what they're going to do to support local student associations, be that funding, be that advice, just anything. I want to know how they're going to support us more or less.
Okay, Ron, so this is that to all candidates. Who would you like to direct that to first?
Rachel?
Rachel, would you like to address the question first?
Can I just clarify, that's how to support local students associations?
Yes.
Cool. I think one of the things, like I was having a discussion with you a few weeks ago. One of the things is about being aware of what each other are doing. And I know that we discussed about having a member of the UHISA executive, be that the West Highland College rep or another person, who would observe meetings that you're having, so that then we can talk about things that are tying together. If there's ways that UHISA can support you, and then they can also come back to UHISA and say, this is an issue at the college that I was observing, and then other people from the other colleges can say, well, actually that was an issue at my college, the one that I observed too. And so we can identify the pan-UHI issues, but we can also be aware of and, where necessary, support the local students associations if that's feasible and if that's wanted. Another thing was about encouraging presidents or whoever's most relevant at the local student associations to reciprocate that and to observe UHISA meetings, so that you're aware of what we're doing, so that then we're not running things in parallel when they're to achieve the same aim. We can be doing, like a local student association can direct something and target it more specifically to their students, but if we're both heading in the same direction, we should be doing that together rather than duplicating work. So I think that's one of the things, is to develop the communication, really.
Cool, thank you.
Rachel. Ron, who would you like to ask next?
Parveen?
Praveen? Would you like to answer the question next? How you would support the local student associations?
Yes. Local student associations, like for an example, before Rachel asked how, if somebody wanna start a skiing association in one of the colleges, how would you do that? Because not maybe there is only one student in one college, but there might be other students in other colleges. So the student rep of that college should gather the details on who's interested in a particular clubs, and where they can, gather students and who are interested in them, and contact with other colleges and other student reps, so they can come to an agreement where they can do all together once in one place. So like that, it can be developed like that, concentrating on everything coming together instead of separate association. They should all come together, and that's how I will focus my things on it. So,
Thank you, Praveen.
Oh, good, thanks. Can I put it on to Luke now, please?
Luke?
Hi. Well, I guess I think I'd put the question back to you. What kind of support do you need? Because if you do need anything, we'll do our very best to get that for you.
Fair it is, yeah. Yeah, it's not really my place to say, because I'm not standing for election, but more or less just more support, more involvement inside UHISA, that's all I'm really looking for. But can I ask the question on to Dane, please?
Yeah, I think Luke has a good point. Each local association will have different needs. So I think it will really need to be on a sort of case-by-case basis what support that particular association needs. That's why I advocate of more dialogue between each other, so we can identify what those needs are for a particular students association, how we can best support them. I think a lot of support we would look to give is in terms of advice and networking and things like that. Obviously, once you get into funding, then it gets trickier and things like that. But wherever possible, we would seek to help, because by helping you, we help out the students, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. So I know that's probably a bit vague, but like I said, it would depend quite a bit on what you need. Everyone's at a different stage.
Cool, thank you. Can I put the question on to Hetty now, please?
You can put the question on to Heidi, but I think
Sorry.
it's okay. You're not the first. It's all right. I think it's important again finding out exactly what each campus needs, and I think HTC is one of the smaller campuses, and I think my involvement already has raised awareness as far as it seems like we've lost some. Can you hear me? It seems we've lost some feed.
Yeah, no, I can still hear you.
Okay, sorry. I think we can raise awareness, and as long as you have a student UHISA rep on campus, that absolutely helps to generate what is going on. If I'm elected, I would certainly want to go visit, obviously, all of the campuses to find out, again, what Luke was saying. What are your personal needs? What are your passions? What are your interests? And what role do you generally want to be a part of UHISA? Because I'm aware that so much of what all the roles are involved in depends on our fellow students and what you all want and what you're going to come alongside us and say, we want this and we want to be a voice for this. So echoing what both Luke, Dane, and Rachel, I think, said is face-to-face contact, having interaction, and finding out specifically what you need. And then as far as vice president role, clubs and societies, finding out in Fort William, I think I was speaking to someone who is part of the canoeing club, and am I right, in the canoeing club, a lot of your things are out of Fort William, is that right?
Yeah, the paddle club is run out of Fort William, yeah.
Right, so if elected, I would love to see how that's going on, if we can encourage that and promote that and spread that wider, but also find out if there's other interests on your campus that we can get you on board with. Okay.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks.
Can I put on to Alan now, please?
Yeah, Heidi's kind of got it all sewn up there. It's all about finding out what you specifically need. In terms of clubs and societies, what we can provide is we can provide funding assistance to clubs that are based at your colleges who want to expand and be UHI wide. However, if they don't want to be UHI wide, and they want to remain part of your campus, there's no need for us to sever ties. We can still offer advice. Funding advice can be offered. Actual, hard up cash is going to be quite difficult to justify, and probably, it definitely wouldn't happen. But there's nothing stopping us providing advice to your clubs and societies on how they can go about, how they can do things, how they can encourage students to join. I think your question is also a bit broader, not just relevant to the clubs and societies, which is what the Vice President would do. And in general, yes, it's all about what you would like, and it's all about specific to each college. Because not every college maybe wants UHISA having an active role or providing advice. Each college maybe wants their own different thing. But I also think that there's a lot of the colleges that UHISA can learn from. There's a lot of the colleges that have got pretty good systems going and are quite engaged with all their students. And that's something UHISA can learn from as well. So it's not just a case of us helping you. I think a lot of the other students' associations can also help UHISA a little bit. And whether that's just telling their students about UHISA, or whether it's by giving us ideas that you've had and ideas that you've done that have worked. Whether you've had a K-lane, it was fantastic, everyone loved it. Right, do you think UHISA could do that? What would be the challenges for us? We could step in and help if it's needed, but we'd need to know what the help was. But I think it could also come back, and if you guys have great ideas and things that have worked, feed it up through your representatives or get in contact with the principal office bearers, and because it's, we're all in it together. We should all be working together and helping each other. So that's me.
Thanks, Alan. Ronald, is that all the candidates you want to ask, or would you like to ask the specialist officers that are here? And I think it's only no, we've got two actually, because Ashlyn's here too. Two college representatives.
Yeah, I'll ask them as well. Names.
I've got the names here if you want me to run through them as yet.
Please, yeah.
Save testing you. Elsa, candidate for UHISA Disabilities Officer. Elsa, the same question for all candidates Ronald was asking. What would you do to support your local student association? Or local, not just your own, but local.
Well, I'm at HTC and we don't have a student association because we're so small. But basically, I would want to find out the needs of all the other student associations in the campuses. But unfortunately, I would say with people with disabilities, a lot of people are quite personal about them. A lot of people don't really, if they've got a hidden disability, they don't want to come out and say that they have a disability. So, I mean, an idea that very, very recently that I'd quite like to come up with is something like a virtual interest board that you can get. We will promote UHISA, and I would like to promote with all college reps and for every single campus, make them aware that that is there, and it will be closed and confidential. But it's basically for them, they can speak to other people, and if they have any ideas, anything they want changed, they can come speak to me. We can campaign about it. We can promote awareness of it. So that in some way would help most of the college campuses and student associations. Again, any student associations, I want them to let me know what their needs are and what they want changed, and we will work together and try and change that. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next specialist officer then, who is here joining us, is LGBT officer candidate Scotty and some more. Hi, Scotty.
Hi, to remember the words, the exact wording of the question again. Could you repeat that for me, please?
How would you help local student associations? Like, what would you do to support them, if anything?
Yeah, it's something that I'm, as well as being, at the moment I'm Somewhere Ofsted rep on UHISA, I'm also the president of the local student association here, so I'm quite aware that I think there's a different function of student associations, local associations, and I think that there is also, and I'm quite aware that there's areas of conflict as well. Looking forward, I'm actually quite looking forward to being out of the front line battles, as it were, and I'm looking to go into being LGBT officer. Now, with all the best will in the world, I don't think that an LGBT campaign is something that a small college like Somore or West Highland or HTC could really do. I think it's important that we have it at a university level, but it's not, the very small colleges could have student associations, they could have their own football teams, they could run a lot of the things on the ground, and I think that's the best place for it. But from LGBT, disabilities, international campaigns, things that the big university student associations do, that's not the kind of thing that the smaller associations can do. Probably could do something perhaps Inverness and maybe Perth could do these as well, but I think that's the area that HISA should be focusing on, is some of the slightly kind of bigger ticket items, and what it says, we'll be prepared to set this up, to get these resources that as a small student association you'll be able to tag in and use, and it's not really something that will stand on your toes, or it's not really something, I can't think that a West Highland College LGBT society would be particularly big, but I think we can do that for you. Any LGBT students we've got would be able to tie into this regional one.
Cool, thank you very much.
Okay, Mike McMillan, as I say, Ronald isn't here, but he would be happy if you did have this question, you wanted to put it to him, to do so via email. So moving on to the next, we're moving on to college representatives now. We only have two here. Aisling Goody, who is the candidate for first college representative, who I believe is not feeling well, and I'm not entirely sure has regained her voice. So I don't know if she can answer fully, but Aisling?
I hope I can keep my voice still. I was involved in Park Student Association quite a bit when I started, and this is kind of an issue that we didn't know about what you guys were doing, we didn't know what we were doing. But at the same time, I totally agree with some of what Scotty's saying, that sometimes there's a bit of conflict and you don't want to step on people's toes. And so for the last year that I've been part of college rep, I've kind of been figuring out how the college reps can work as sort of a tie between the local students associations and UHISA. I've been going along to the student rep council meetings and hearing about what the issues are, and some of the things are very local issues. but they have implications for the whole of UHI, or they're having difficulty with campaigns that maybe a UHI-wide campaign could help. Things like paving a path that's not disability friendly. That they may be having difficulty with, but that a disability campaign could help with, even though it's quite a local issue. I think it's just being able to kind of link between the two, as a college rep, to say, you guys are here, and we've still got the Students' Association, and this is what the Students' Association really needs help with, in terms of UHISA.
Cool, thanks.
I'm not entirely sure if it was just my connection to you, but it was hard to pick up with what you said there. So I don't know if you wanted to follow that up by email Ronald afterwards, or if you could hear Ashley at least pick up the majority of what she was saying
I
there.
picked up the majority of it, and yeah, it answered the question fairly well.
Brilliant, and that only leaves one other college representative to ask a question then, which is John sitting there to your side there. John?
Yeah, well, obviously it would be my role to try and engage more with, engage with both UHISA and the Students' Association. It's primarily the reason I got on in the first place. I'm not really sure what I can say at the moment, as I've no experience of UHISA itself, but I do get the feeling that they're extremely helpful in any way they can be. And I'm sure whatever you need and whatever they need, we can work together. I'll be that little conduit, and I'll shuttle back and forth to everything, and be quite happy to do that.
Sound. Cheers, Sean.
Thanks, Sean. Ronald, does that answer all your questions there? I think all candidates here have answered it fully.
Yeah, I answered it fine, yeah. All the candidates did a good job, yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm conscious of time. We're just coming up to, we're at 15:47. So have we got another couple of questions? Scotty, you've got your hand up, and Sam Moore. So will we go to Scotty's question first, and we've got Dane. Conscious of time, I would like to allocate a good few minutes at the end to reiterate the rules of campaigning and the rules of voting moving forward. So Scotty?
Thanks, Melissa. A quick matter-of-fact question, might even be yourself best person to ask for. How many, looking at the UHISA Constitution, S 3.4, meetings shall normally be held monthly. Attendance by video conference or audio shall constitute full attendance. How many meetings have we had since handover in July? If I could ask yourself that, Melissa, as a matter of fact, and then just open it up to anyone who wants to answer. Do they think that monthly meetings are important?
Well, you have current principal office bearers here, Scotty, who I'm sure would be able to answer that. It's themselves that called the meeting. From memory, I wouldn't like to hesitate a guess, to be honest. I could come back to you with an answer after the meeting, but sitting here tonight, I wouldn't like to. I would be guessing, to be honest. But one of them, maybe the current principal office bearers, would be able to answer that better. So, is that your first question? As to how many meetings and whether it's...
Yeah, as a matter of fact, how many have we had, and then just a general opinion from any candidate that wants to answer whether or not they think these are important.
Rachel?
Yeah. During handover, we had a gathering there, and then there was various training events throughout the summer. So people were together at the gathering, and although this wasn't an executive meeting and we didn't pass any policies or anything, people were together, people were sharing ideas and getting to know each other. We had our first proper official executive meeting in September, as that's when classes had started and that's when people were back together and people could actually commit to a meeting. We had another meeting in October. We're having difficulty organising a meeting due to the circumstances that were going on with having 2 people trying to do 4 people's work. So there wasn't an executive meeting in November, but there was student council. During December, people weren't available and there was exams and things were going on then, and we were still struggling with 2 people trying to do 4 people's work. During January, we had our development training, and unfortunately this was in court, not enough people were able to attend. And then in February, we had a meeting booked and scheduled, and unfortunately that one was in court, that was cancelled. And then we've had another meeting we arranged for February. We've had that meeting. We've not yet had a meeting in March.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. Scotty, conscious of time, do you want to direct your other question about the monthly meetings? I'm coming back to confirm again. Is it to all candidates, or do you want to ask specific ones?
Just anybody who wanted to answer it was welcome to. I don't think we could get round all 6 between now and just if anyone was buzzing with an answer.
Yeah, I'll even a quick fire answer to Scotty. Who would like to come in? Our monthly meeting supported. Luke, you seem to have your hand up first there.
Yes, they are important.
Thanks, Luke.
That's
Anyone
right.
else? Oh,
Yes. I'm both in agreement. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Because
important.
people who are further away as well, face-to-face contact's better than emails. Monthly meetings, yeah.
Always.
thank you both. Anyone else?
Well, I could say that monthly meetings are absolutely useless and all that stuff, but I think there's really only one answer to this question, unfortunately, and that is monthly meetings are essential to smooth running, and in fact, the lack of them has delayed progression in things. So they're very important for the smooth running of operations.
I totally agree with Dane on that. Without regular executive meetings every month, then UHISA can't really function. But what we also have to remember is there are circumstances beyond our control. There's no point having an executive meeting if it's not going to be core. If you're not going to have enough people there to actually make a difference, there's no point having the meeting. And we've had some problems since I've come into office with having the core amount of people. And then before I came into office, there was the problems of people being massively overworked trying to do 4 people's jobs. So there are challenges, but in an ideal world, they're very important. So we should have one every month.
Thank you both. Scotty, I hope that's ample to answer that question. Enough views from across the board. I'm conscious we've got 8 minutes left of this BC. Does anyone have one last burning question or a quick question for one candidate or a few of the candidates? Conscious of time, I can see Heidi is waving her hand there in HGC. Heidi?
Yes, it's a question for Praveen. That's all right?
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
I'll be as quick as I can. Praveen, we noticed that you chose not to do the Shindig interview, and I know personally I felt that was a great experience and really launched the rest of the candidates to a wider audience, and we noticed you didn't do it, and we're just wondering, how do you feel that's going to reflect the support you're going to offer to foster, independent student-led clubs? By not doing that, you've maybe perhaps limited what you're willing to offer to UHI-wide students.
Well, yes.
Thanks,
You're right. I might have I might not get many supporters as I thought because I didn't do the thing. I was so much concentrating on other things. Actually, there's a lot of exams and reports that I've been doing, so I was quite busy. But I thought everything that I want to say is in my manifest. This is all I want to do, and the other things that I can do is only when I can ask the questions myself to the students when engaging with them. Other than that, it's up to the students. It doesn't matter whether it's going to be me or it's going to be anyone else as a president or vice president. It's up to the students and the principal bearers who have to engage. So by not answering the Shindig online questions, and I think I would have let my supporters down. So, did that answer you?
Thank you, Praveen. Heidi, are you happy with that answer to your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.